Welcome to the Spare Parts Racing Podcast, your podcast for all things motorsports. With your hosts, Sean Chavarella, Stephen Clary, and Taylor Moore.
Hear that music?
Hello and welcome to another week's episode of Spare Parts Racing. I'm your host, Sean.
I'm Steven.
And I'm Taylor.
And friends, how are y'all doing this week? Everyone have a good weekend?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Fantastic.
you definitely had a better weekend than I say a couple guys. Like, I don't know, Lewis Hamilton probably had, or another guy like Tyler Reddick had. Yeah, you know, some guys had some bad weekends this weekend, but good to know we all had good ones.
Yep.
Yeah. On a scale of like, I don't know, a Charles Leclerc to a Tyler Reddick, how good was your weekend?
Give it a solid Carlos Sainz.
Okay. Steven?
That's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
I would say like a solid Haas performance.
Okay, I was going to give a solid George Russell.
Okay.
Didn't think it'd be great, turned out to be pretty good. It was so, you know,
That was for my
All
thing
right.
with Haas.
that's fair.
Won
Anyway,
the points, one just outside the points.
so we got a very fun weekend to talk about. We have the United States Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas to talk about, and NASCAR first round of 8 at Las Vegas. And yeah, I think we should start with Las Vegas, to be honest, because the goddamn even years.
Yeah, I think it's real. Like, I actually think it's real now.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
Oh,
Joey
you-
Logano.
I've never
I know.
heard this before.
Yes, that's fair. But also,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that. But also, Steven didn't watch the race because he decided to go hiking instead.
Oh, right.
However,
It was a good walk. You should try it sometime.
are you kidding? I can barely get out of the house.
Exactly.
Nah, I like my house. It's safe here.
The
But-
outdoors, not safe.
I mean, Steven, you should try getting to the track also. So, ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Anyway,
Okay,
Las
anyway.
Vegas, probably one of the more entertaining races I would say of the year so far for NASCAR. I mean, I thought it was entertaining. I very much enjoyed how it finished in the scheduled distance. It had a fun mixed strategy at the end where you had two guys in different strategies. What was going to pay out? And yeah, Logano won and just beat out Bell, who probably deserved the win, but I would say
Yeah.
Logano's team made a more risky call to get the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's seems like those Fords can stretch out and fuel when they have to in a couple of these races this year. So yeah, Logano advances to the Final Four. And did we not make like a prediction like that last week?
I feel like Logano wasn't in the top 4
No,
from our
we
prediction.
all-
I think it was Reddick, right?
I think we had we had Reddick in. We didn't say Logano, but I think we
No,
made a comment of like,
No.
didn't we make a comment of it's the even year, so it'd be kind of for the lulls if he got there?
I
Yes,
feel like
so
maybe we did make that.
we all went with Larson, Bell, Hamlin, Byron. So Reddick being out,
Ooh.
good call, team. You
Okay.
know,
Good call.
regular season champ, not necessarily an easy call, but yeah, our if we were doing the bracket challenge, it's busted.
That is
Yeah.
valid. That is valid.
But
So,
though
yeah.
to be fair, I don't remember how we ended that part, but it would not surprise me if I would have said, well, we all picked the same 4 people, so congrats Joey Logano on winning. So
I'm
something
pretty
like
sure
that.
you did say that.
I think you did. Yeah,
We always jinx whatever happens. So
of course. We're
true, we
never
do.
right.
it's just the easy insert opposite of what you guessed.
The-
That's
yeah,
end of the
Joe
segment.
Logano.
yeah. So Logano gets in. Huge hole to climb out of for Reddick, Blaney, and Elliott now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was not good. It was heartbreaking to watch, though. Like, Reddick is probably fighting for it, and he's really trying. But like the crash, like, didn't he go spinning? Like it was a
flipped.
barrel roll, right?
He did a
flipped.
full flip. then drove it to the box, and I was like, the tie rod's done, so
It's done.
or whatever the hell,
Yeah.
suspension or whatever. So yeah, they were like, we're out. So.
Oh well.
Yeah. I really wish he could have kept driving after that flip. That would have been amazing. If it's like, if for some reason everything was fine, but unfortunately it wasn't. But yeah, I think it was in the interview, Elliott gave a lot of blame to Reddick on that one, saying he was kind of racing a little too hard.
Well,
And,
yeah, you're racing to be in the in the final four. So
yeah, and I kind of get it. He was going around the outside there, pushing it from 2 wide to 3 wide. I feel like Truex, though, should get some of the blame because Truex hit Elliott, who hit Reddick, who hit him into the wall, who then bounced off into the rest of them. So, really, it's kind of a racing incident. And maybe Truex could have gave a little less and, not moved up the track as aggressively. And then it wouldn't be a problem.
Realize you have 2 playoff guys on your outside bumper or outside quarter panels.
Yeah.
But at the same time, by playing it that hard, you've now almost ensured that both of your guys can make it to the next round if Hamlin can win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough sled, but
I think Bell's going to be a pretty good lock for the final at this point.
Yeah. He had a really good race. He was leading most of the time. If not leading, he was in second. He was up there.
He dominated the race. He should have won.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes the risk does pay off, which is okay, yeah, congrats, you made a risky move. But yeah, no, Bell was really dominant, and I was actually pretty sure he was going to win that race, but
yeah, with 5 to go, I'm like, he's going to get him. He's going to get him easily. And if he had one more lap, he had it. But hey,
yeah.
That's the risk that you run. But yeah, now we got 2 races left. We got Homestead. We got Martinsville. What do we expect?
Well, I think Bell is going to win for sure. One of them. So I think, because Logano's locked in, I think Bell will end up being locked in. And then who is it really between? It'll be Byron and who?
Hamlin.
I think Byron was up there too in the race, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a win from him, but I think he's got a strong. Oh, and then Larson.
Martinsville's going to be very interesting because
Interesting.
It's a short track. It's hard to pass. Qualifying is going to mean so much for that race.
And you have a couple guys who usually perform really well there in Hamlin, Larson, and Byron.
Yep.
So.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
That's going to be a very spicy race. Homestead should be fun. It's good for the guy not to have to worry about it. You just kind of turn your brain off for 2 races. Ride it out. Hopefully beat some guys you want to beat so that they don't advance. Looking at maybe an Elliott or a Blaney. Nothing would be worse if your teammate also wins and then all of a sudden you have to fight your teammate for the championship. See Hendrick for the last how many years?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how Reddick's done on the short tracks. He finished 7th in the spring race at Martinsville, so after starting 19th.
Ooh.
So there's not really, really any slouches for that race. Homestead, I'd probably lean on Larson doing well and
yeah, I feel like
locking himself in.
A Larson or even a Bell could do well at Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think if you're trying to lock people in, Bell should be pretty safe. He's been pretty good, especially how he performed in the round of 8. What was it, 2 years ago, where he had a lot of, or what was it? He won the last race of every round, or whatever it was. Again, Larson's.
So Bell
history.
did win Homestead last year, by the way.
That as well. So, you feel like both of these guys, this is a good section of tracks where they can perform and they should be all right, barring 2 guys outside the bubble winning.
Yeah, there's a lot that can happen. And as much as people are really pissed off about Logano getting through after basically getting DQ'd to advance and then him making it off of a strategic call when he wasn't winning the race. People are really mad, but it's like, hey, this is the system. We know it at this point. We all don't like it, but this is what it is. So
insert buzz phrases, getting hot at the right time, lucky to be good to be lucky. Like, that's all it is.
Thriving under pressure,
Yep.
Which
all
you
those
can
cliches.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Logano and his team did it.
Yeah, and it's not to say that like the 22 car has a slouch team. I think so. The first thing I usually do when we do this is I hop onto the different series sites, and so you have a 2-time champion in Logano. Also, his crew chief is now the top or the highest or most wins of any active crew chief. So there's a lot of experience and a lot of championship pedigree on that pit wall.
And who is his
behind the wheel? Paul Wolf.
Okay.
So
just maybe give that a little context of who we're talking about.
Yes. So 41 wins is the new active mark for a crew chief.
That really doesn't feel like a whole lot.
It doesn't, but then you think about like your best drivers like Byron's 7-win series or 7-win season last year was like, wow, this guy's just doing amazing.
Yeah, I kind of miss in NASCAR where you would have guys that could rattle off like so many wins in a year.
Yeah.
I know it's not like that anymore, but hey.
Yeah.
It's anyone can win. Overtimes. Other shenanigans.
Super speedway shenanigans.
Yes.
So
yeah. Do you think Logano will win the championship?
No.
Doesn't matter what we say. If I say no, if we say no, he'll win it.
I'll say yes.
Even number year. If you say yes, maybe he won't because then it's a jinx. I don't know.
He's the guy I don't have money on. I'm gonna say yes. He wins it.
There you go.
Of course.
Use that knowledge, Steven. Use that knowledge.
Okay. Double down on Logano.
There you
go. Okay.
But yeah. Anything else for NASCAR or for Las Vegas?
No.
Good race. We can agree it was a good race.
Good race.
A lot of people were mad and like that wasn't a good race poll.
No, whatever. They're always mad about something.
But people are mad about that not because the actual race itself, but because it was Logano that won and advanced.
Oh, I see.
Because now
mad about
because now people feel like it's not deserved. But like
that's the structure of the playoffs. That's every single year. Last year, same thing happened. Blaney won the championship. It was Blaney, right? I watched the show. I'm pretty sure it was Blaney.
You were doing correct. Well done.
But Byron, it was last season when he won the 7 races. Like, he had an amazing season, and by all means, he should have won. And it's the same thing with Larson, right? Like, Larson this year has had a very consistent year. He's done very well. You know, in like traditional playoff systems, he should get it, or like point systems, right? Like if it was F1, he'd be in a shoo-in to win the championship. So I honestly, I get why people are mad, but also it is what it is.
The issue with playoffs, and you will find this in every single series, is that the issue with playoffs is that someone will win, and you can always make the argument that someone else was more deserving.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
And it is great for an entertainment aspect that you don't know what's going to happen. That being said, it is always going to, I guess, smudge your sport, put a blemish on it, that you could argue someone else is a more deserving champion. Even in all of the Jimmy Johnson era of like 7 championships, many of those, I think actually all of them, were in the chase format, which was, I guess, pre-playoffs, but pseudo-playoffs, if you know what I mean. It's the same kind of thing. You could always make the argument that someone else could have deserved them. However, this is the system. Everyone knows what's at stake. Everyone knows how the game is played. his team got it done and get to move on, and they get to have a chance to actually fight for the championship. You don't like it? You could have done the same thing.
Yep. If you don't like it, don't watch.
Yeah. However, I feel that's terrible because we are usually the ones who are clamoring like, hey, NASCAR needs to change this stuff. We don't like it. We do not. We'd prefer other systems. However, when a driver happens to win in said system, I will not belittle the driver. I will not say they don't deserve it. I will not give shit on the race to be like, well, it wasn't a good race because this person won. No. You can give NASCAR shit for having this kind of format, but don't go after the driver and don't go after the track. Because that is not NASCAR's call.
Yeah.
Or I guess that is NASCAR's call. It's not on the track or the driver to just be playing within the rules. Or I guess the track being the venue the rules are in, you know? So, long story short, people, it happens. It's an even year. This was inevitable. And now we're going to move on to talk about the United States Grand Prix at COTA.
Equally entertaining.
I was going to expect Taylor to start jumping up in joy because Ferrari got a 1-2.
Yes.
She doesn't even know that Charles' middle name is Percival.
Oh.
Okay. All right. First and foremost, that was a very hard quiz. What am I supposed to know? Anyway.
You failed.
The start, fantastic. Well done, Leclerc.
Can we not all say that we absolutely predicted Norris to bottle it?
Yeah, of course we did.
Yeah. Well, so he has his own personal history, which, you know, hasn't led a lap, or sorry, has led a lap one time from pole. But I think to start the broadcast after, or when they always do their, after everybody sort of sorts themselves out and we get into the normal or the race pace for the middle section, or for the first stint, Hinch comes on and says, well, you know, even without that, 5 of the last 6 pole sitters have not led the first lap at COTA, so it's also just not a great spot to be on pole. So when you couple those two things together, it's like, yeah, this is about as inevitable as it could be.
Did Max not lead in the sprint race?
Mm-hmm.
For the actual race, not the...
No, but for the sprint race, Max was on pole.
Yes, but I think that was it. The statistic was in reference to...
No, I'm aware.
Did I not use
yes.
the same circuit?
It's the same circuit, and what I just
Hey.
want to point out, it can be done.
Yes. No, it can. It just seems... So the whole point I think Hinch was making is that this track, for whatever reason especially, is somewhat disadvantageous. That is not to also say, well, that's the only reason Lando gave up his pole
You're
spot.
saying that.
He has not been.
I'm saying it's a skill issue.
That too. I'm saying it's both.
That's fair, but like, okay, we just saw
he's
day
proven-
before
Yes.
Max was able to do it from pole, hold everyone off,
Yes.
be at the lead. He took a very weird line. He went very defensive into turn 1, and that's what you got to do.
Which is what Lando should have done. He left the door open.
Exactly.
And got
But he leaves it. He
punished.
also leaves the door open so many times, and he's just a terrible starter. Like he just is. I do have a question though. Last year, I think Max won this race. Did he not lead?
Bro, last year none of us watched this race. We were at my wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember.
I don't remember
She really
either.
doesn't know when you got married.
I know, right? Has no idea.
To be honest, I forgot that it was the USGP. I think I thought it was Mexico for some reason. Okay, ignore me.
Usually I do.
Max did win. He was not on pole.
Who was on pole?
He wasn't even in the top 5 last year.
Oh, really?
Was a Ferrari on
was-
pole?
Ferrari was on pole,
Haha.
and Lando was 2nd. Hamilton 3rd, Sainz 4th, Russell 5th, then Max on the third row.
I also wonder in terms of this race, how much of a different race we would have gotten if George didn't wreck in qualifying. Because you had it being a Max Lando front row, with Max being on pole, Lando being second, basically the same setup as the sprint race, if George didn't crash. And I wonder if the Ferraris would have actually been able to pull away like they did and have the pace that they did, which I don't think anyone expected the Ferraris to be that good.
No. Considering, what was it? The McLaren brought upgrades, Red Bull brought upgrades, Mercedes brought upgrades, Ferrari didn't bring upgrades, and they just sort of went.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the biggest shock for me. I was watching, and like in the intervals, I was like, how is he 5 seconds ahead? Like, how do they have this much pace and they didn't bring any upgrades? So I guess the upgrades that the other teams brought maybe were downgrades, potentially, or weren't suited for this track.
It could be trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, like I know when some teams bring upgrades, it takes a couple sessions to understand what these do to the balance of the car. So all of a sudden, yeah, in theory, it has more grip, but how do you maximize that grip with a setup that works for it at said track? So maybe it's a bad one for COTA.
Yep.
Though, okay, quick thing about COTA. I think COTA is one of my favorite tracks. Like, for watching it on TV. So many shots are just picturesque. Like, I think it was one of the qualifying laps where they come over the hill. You have the tower in the background. You have the flag.
Yeah.
It's actually the Texas flag, Steve.
Oh, whatever. Same shit. Red, white, blue, star on it. Same shit.
But this track looks so good, and the battles it has, like these guys are able to battle 4 laps and for corners side by side, looking not just at the Lando and Max battle at the end of the race, which we'll talk about, but you had battles from literally 19th, 18th, all the way up the grid, all across, and it was just a very good race.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Lawson versus Alonso for the rest of the season.
That is... Did you have that rivalry on your bingo card at all?
No.
If you did, how do you bet on Liam Lawson getting back into F1?
Yeah. And
where did you put that money?
And then immediately, sparring with Fernando Alonso, who's been in the sport forever.
Yeah. No, did not see that one coming at all.
So, yeah. It was a good race, though. I enjoyed it. Ferrari's winning was good. George coming to the field was good. Hamilton spinning out early was bizarre.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Weird mistake.
Don't see that often from Hamilton.
No. And I was able to see some of the comments, and after qualifying, he was like, sort of already looking forward to next weekend. So it's like, mentally probably wasn't in it and just made a small mental error.
I mean, looking at the Ferraris, he's probably looking forward to next year.
Yep. He's like, yes.
Do you remember earlier in the season, we were all shitting on that?
I don't recall shitting all over that. I don't remember this at all. I seem to remember being quite thrilled that this was going to happen.
I was gonna say, I think it also, you have to look at the context around the timing of it, because what was happening when that was announced? Ferrari was in the shitter. Mercedes had 3 straight wins, and you're like, yeah, what are you doing? But now it looks like, this is probably the right move.
Yeah.
Ferrari seems to be, coming on a little bit here.
Yep.
So.
Definitely surprised. But yeah, Ferrari's looking good now. They're only 8 points behind Red Bull.
This is going to be a really, really interesting finish to the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm a bad person.
Oh,
For
boy.
the entire Max Lando fight, you know what I wanted the most?
For them to take Jitter out?
Oh, yes. purely to bring Ferrari even closer to both of them.
Yeah. That fight. Oh man. Things are getting a little like chesty between the two of them on track. Like things are getting a little heated.
Things are getting heated, but I think that fight highlights a major flaw in Lando Norris as a driver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see what you say and see if we're going to think the same thing.
I'm not going to be probably as nice of you as you are, Steve. I'm just going to say he's a fucking idiot. He's over emotional.
Elaborate.
He's over emotional. He is stupid. He will make the wrong decision because feels entitled to that decision. I bet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everything about Lando as a driver actually pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is a very good villain for F1. And I find myself cheering for Max against Lando.
Yeah, well, was it you? Someone sent a tweet where it was like, we're now cheering for Max because we all know we can't handle Lando's ego if he wins a championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% though.
That is exactly what it is, though, because it's just brutal. I agree with you 100%, Sean. Anyway, Stephen, what are you going to say?
You know what? Sean's not entirely wrong. Where I will probably say it a little bit nicer. But I do agree with the fact that he does feel entitled because he just kept trying the exact same thing over and over. There was no creativity in the attack, and you watch, what was it? Somewhere in that last 10, 11, 12 laps, they're coming on to I think it's the main I think it was the main straight, but he's got a 0.4 gap. He's well within. He's charging out of the final corner. He's got the DRS, and he still can't make a pass because he kept trying to do the same thing and take the outside route, have the better run, and it just never worked. And it's like, dude, there's got to be some creativity in your attack.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you just get predictable, and you're going to lose this mentally. So our biggest thing with Charles Leclerc is you know that you can go into a corner with elbows out because if you're a little more aggressive, you're probably coming out on top. And even then, he's probably taking avoiding action.
That's actually something I will commend Leclerc for this race. Is he went into that first corner man on a mission.
Yep,
he was getting that first place.
Yes,
yeah.
And that is what we've been asking to see for 3 fucking years. So,
yeah.
Do I still want to see more of that from Leclerc when he gets into the actual wheel-to-wheel battles? Yes, this was not quite the same, but again with Norris, it like Sean said, almost looked like, yeah, I will make the move around the outside, have a better run into the next corner, and I will take the next position, or I will take over the position. And there was just no creativity to the attack.
Yeah.
Like, my frustration thing is like, okay, we can talk about like one fantastic fight. Honestly, Max put up great defense, great defensive driving, and yeah, as the overtaking car, it is on you to overtake the car in front of you safely.
Mm-hmm.
That is, the onus is on you to do that. As the defender, you can place your car wherever you want, and as long as you do not make contact or do anything erratic, you are free to race that way. And then we get to the actual climax of the fight, which is both of them kind of run deep. Lando keeps his foot in it, goes out wide, gets around him.
Mm-hmm.
That I thought, and you could see lap after lap, Lando was chipping away, getting closer and closer, and he finally got right there. But wasn't enough, and decided to go around the outside. And basically, on the radio I was ahead of the apex. My corner.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing.
Not how that works.
That's not how that works. And
also, you weren't.
Also, they were literally side by side.
And I think the whole point about him feeling entitled to, like, you can hear it so much in his post-race interview when he was like, well, I thought we were in the right. Of course you do. Of course you do. Because you feel entitled to be in the right. And he's like, well, we don't make the rules.
But
Because
if you
the
were a
rules
smart,
cold, man.
but if you were a smart driver, you would have
Yeah.
given it back to him at the top of one.
Mhm.
At the top of the hill, you give it back to Max there. You go wide. You have Max take it back. You cut in underneath him, and you chase him back down. And then you try to make the exact same move on him because you know you're faster, and you know you had the time to do it.
Exactly.
Or you pull the really chintzy thing, do that move 3 laps earlier, and then just run off into the distance. This car, because that was with 3 laps to go, right?
I thought it was like 5. There was a few to go. He had
It
enough.
wasn't, but
He
either
had
way, it
enough
was
to
not-
mount more of a challenge again. At least 2
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
I think.
No, but in the end, however many laps it was, he still was only 0.9 away from making that move, taking the penalty, and still being able to overcome that 5-second penalty.
Mhm.
That's fair.
So maybe
think-
again, you mount that attack a little bit earlier instead of just
Yeah.
doing your usual. Well, I'll just wait, cut to the inside, and try and get as close as possible to his rear wing, and try and switch back and take on the outside on the next one.
Yeah. And I think part of why I think Lando lacks as a driver is that he lacks the foresight in the race to understand that he has the time to make these moves, right? Like it's like understanding the capabilities of your machinery and planning out where you can do those moves, right? Like I think of somebody like Alonso who thinks like laps ahead, right? Verstappen, he's always thinking ahead of how he can manage his race better. Lando, I don't think has that skill, and I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right on that too. But we can also, I think, all agree that this would not be an issue. Like the penalties, the driving wide, anything like this that has caused the controversy post this race. If we just stop paving everything,
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
like the biggest thing I'm thinking here is like, yes, Max kind of drove him wide. And you know what? George did get a penalty earlier in the race for doing a similar thing, driving a guy wide, forcing them kind of off the track.
Yeah.
That used to not happen in F1. You never really drove a guy to the edge because the edge was grass. And if you put a guy in the grass, what's going to happen? He might come back into you.
Yep.
So defensive standards have gotten way more aggressive in F1 where you don't always leave a space. That's not actually a thing anymore. You drive a guy right to the edge and he has to get around you. If he can't, too bad. To now being like, it's only going to change if Lando holds it out on the outside and fine, you're going to drive me off, hit me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Which he can't afford to do right now because he's making up points.
I don't care if you can't afford to do it. Grow a pair.
Yeah, from
Like,
from a mentality standpoint, yeah, you sort of have to do it. But he's
Yeah.
also probably thinking about the points and how I need to make up points. I can't afford to have a neutral race.
I mean, you just say he doesn't think ahead, so you know.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Mhm.
Like, I would say like Lando should be more aggressive in those attacks. If a guy is going to try to drive you out, like I want someone in F1 with an absolutely I don't give a fuck attitude. You're not moving me. And like Lando does have the beginnings of that I don't give a fuck attitude.
Mhm.
He is an asshole. As
Yeah.
likable as he makes himself seem and stuff, he drives like an asshole.
Mhm.
That's probably a better way to say it. He drives like an asshole and he races like an asshole.
Yeah.
He still does not have that fuck you mentality though. He does when it's not called for and he can't be calm, cool, collected in it. But also when he's battling a guy close to like wheel to wheel, he will get pushed off and go wide and he'll just say, fuck it. I'm going to keep my foot in it because I can. If he holds it out there and Max bounces off his tires, Max that gets the penalty. It's Max who's way too deep into a corner that hits the guy on the outside. It's not on the guy. If a guy on the outside gets hit, it's not your fault. But in this situation, Norris decides, hey, I'm just going to keep my foot in it, run wide, get around him, deal with the consequences. Cost him third place, cost some more points to Max. And I think he does have to Lando has two paths. He either matures the driver and doesn't do moves like that, or he leans into the fuck you and does what I'm saying, which is, if he's going to hit you, he's going to hit you. Personally, I'd rather see him do the latter.
Yeah. I think that's again, it's a mentality going into corners. Again, if you want to be like Charles Leclerc and when it gets wheel to wheel, I know you're going to back out. I can push a little more. Perfect. I'm totally okay with that. But if I have to double think like everybody does with Max, because from the time he entered F1 to even up until I'd say maybe last year or the year before, it was always, if I go into a corner and we get wheel to wheel, I might not come out of it. He may not come out of it. Both of us may not come out of it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to think that.
Who else had that same mentality?
Who would that be?
Lewis. And that's why their fight was so contentious, because both of them had that fuck you
Championship attitude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I actually support Max way more than this than Lando.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Lando getting the penalty because it does suck. And if you just had a gravel trap there or grass, we're not talking about a cars running wide and being able to go meters off the track and make a pass.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as we just said in our NASCAR talk, this is what we're dealing with. These are the rules. These are the safety regulations that F1 has, that you need X number of feet of pavement. Okay.
Yep. Well, and then it was also interesting seeing the post-race comments from other teams as well, because that was not the only turn 12 incident. There was also George Russell, who, starting from the pit lane, had to come back to the field, who forced Valtteri Bottas off in a similar fashion.
Right.
And
he
took
got
a 5-second penalty.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm just reading here. Did Verstappen? So this is George Russell speaking. Did Verstappen get a penalty for turn 1? This is on the cool down lap. No, Toto Wolff replying, no, he didn't get a penalty. At the end, Lando got a penalty for being forced off and overtaking on the outside. I guess it's a bit biased decision making, but so now is that more Toto Wolff, I think, defending his guy versus going after Verstappen? I think so, because he also said, well, I'm not going to comment on Lando and Verstappen. It's like, he sort of already
Yeah.
did.
I also
By saying
wonder,
there's biased decision making.
I wonder if those calls are made, though, based on where the cars are at. For example, if George, I'm pretty sure, was a little bit ahead of Bottas and moved Bottas out, because Bottas kept coming, George gave him no room, runs him out.
Yeah.
And the argument for Verstappen and Lando. Let's say Lando's interpretation is correct and he is ahead at the apex. Okay, then you're still driving wider to make that corner to get by him.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, let's say they're dead even, then they're going right to the edge and they're really compromising their laps altogether, fighting each other. But then, yeah, maybe it is more of a Max thing of pushing him off. Or if it's Max ahead, Lando coming from behind, definitely Max is giving him nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, by Lando's interpretation of events, if it is, I was ahead at the apex, yeah, he may have forced you a little wider, but then you still went off the track to complete the pass. Again, if you don't do that and you let him hit you based on your interpretation of events, Lando, well, he's causing a collision. He gets a bigger penalty or completely is out of the race.
Yeah.
So
take a hit, make the play.
You know what? Yes, take a hit.
Ball and stick sports. Take a hit, make the play.
Seriously, I actually would respect more F1 drivers if they did take the contact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there is always contact in IndyCar. We saw that. We would see contact in NASCAR. It's common.
Yeah. Well,
seriously,
I think
F1, take the hit. Lando, take the hit.
Yeah, well, and I get there's some added context for some other drivers. Like you get your guys like Mick Schumacher, where it's, well, he's caused a lot of money. He's racked up a lot of money getting into incidents. Lando's in a really good spot where I think Zach Brown, if he's taking hits to sort of say, no, I'm gonna be aggressive and I'm gonna stand my ground. I think he's one of the few guys in a position where it's like, yeah, Zach Brown's okay writing that check.
Yeah.
Like your Maxes, your Lewises. Yeah, well, you know what? They're a championship driver. They've got multiple world championships. Why am I going to question them? Doesn't make any sense.
You know who would take the hit?
Who that?
Pato Ward.
Probably.
Pato would definitely be a guy to take the hit.
Yeah.
Probably.
Or historically, who was a guy that took the hit, won the championship?
Who are you thinking?
1997 Jerez European Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher dive bombed and tried to take out Jacques Villeneuve. Well, actually, Jacques Villeneuve dive bombed Schumacher, and Schumacher turned in on him. Schumacher took the hit. Or sorry, Villeneuve took the hit. Schumacher went off. Villeneuve went on to win the championship because that good Canadian blood.
Yeah.
Villeneuve
good
knew.
Canadian kid.
Take the hit. Made the play.
boy.
Won the championship.
Yeah.
That is the mentality.
There we go. We gotta get some Canadian hockey coaches or some American football coaches over there.
Oh boy.
Teach these soft Europeans how to play.
I'm going to clip
boy.
that, I feel like, and just get you just railroaded on the internet.
Yeah, probably. If I was gonna do it, I probably should have just done it in the Don Cherry accent.
Well,
But
it's
screw
too
it.
bad.
Screw it. Let's edit it. Let's just throw Don Cherry in there. And
Nope,
then-
not doing that. Nope, you're taking the full
No.
xenophobic approach here, Steven. I'm just saying toughen up. You're just making it all but Europeans, apparently, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes. Anything else to add for this? For actual on-track stuff for this race?
Bravo to Liam Lawson.
I was going to say to Colapinto, but fine. We can
And
go Lawson
Colapinto.
too.
No, what here? Bravo to the guys that were not full timers this season. Fantastic race for both
sure.
of them.
Valtteri Bottas, I'm sorry you're 23rd in a 20-car championship.
Yee.
Yikes.
Losing the Logan
Yep.
Sargent too. Yee.
Based on alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible year for the Saubers.
Also, just looking, I know we sort of criticized taking Daniel out of the car, but Lawson getting 2 points has them still within 2 points of Haas.
Didn't Haas pass them?
Yes, but now imagine where they would be with Daniel.
Yeah, but Haas got 4 points so they actually jumped up.
I know, but imagine so you would have lost two extra points.
Okay, so you're saying they would be
I'm
further
saying
behind.
good. Yes, good job to Liam for keeping them within 2 points.
Fair enough.
So, if he can have another point scoring round here, maybe it was the right move.
Also, I know Mexico City's coming up, but like, there's no way Perez can be in this car next year, right?
No.
After-
All the rumors are that he's retiring after the Mexican GP. So we'll see.
Retiring
After-
or like being part of a cartel hit, we'll see.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Sean, what was I think it was one of the F1 troll memes that I sent you the other day or this morning, where it was like the Perez, it's the boxer meme where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna take the fight to Max this season. Damn, Colapinto got hands.
Yeah.
Damn, Lawson got hands.
Yeah, that's accurate because Perez has not been. And like I said, like Ferrari's 8 points behind Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's winning the championship, the guy who probably will win the championship, the team's not even going to be in the top three, or not going to be in the top two constructors. It's going to be third probably. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, with how Liam Lawson showed today, or yesterday, he might jump Sonoda for that seat too.
That is entirely possible.
Yep.
One thing also we talked about last week for the U.S. Grand Prix that didn't make a show. The trophies.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, what happened there? Was it copyright issues?
Apparently, they said something like, yeah, it was, they removed the trophies, where is it now? Due to, last-minute copyright concerns.
Nice.
I don't know who could have possibly been.
Oh, I wonder who.
No, honestly, I have no idea, because it could have been like Disney. It could have been like Lego. Dead
It
Mouse.
was I think it was
All
most
three.
likely probably Disney. Like of the companies who, I would say 90% of the time, if there's like even a note of a song in something, they are on it for like copyright things.
Okay, but so I just sent it to you. Look at that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to me that screams Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, it's
Oh, also Lego. It could be both.
or Dead Mouse because the ears. Like, I don't know.
But bro, that looks like Mickey Mouse ears, not Dead Mouse ears.
It's
I
mouse
don't think
ears.
Dead Mouse is paying attention.
Actually, I think Dead Mouse would pay the most attention because he's the car guy.
Oh, is he? Interesting.
Disney
It could have been Lego.
Yeah, Disney or Lego wouldn't really know or do anything for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, whoever it was.
We
It
thank
was
you.
very funny to see the confusion on the driver's face when they got like the pole awards, like the tires.
They had to have scrambled to get those together. I guarantee it. They're like, oh shit, what do we have in the back of the truck?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I don't even know like what little dinky black trophy thingy that Leclerc got. Like, did they just have a spare trophy lying around?
Maybe they do.
Just
yeah,
what we had.
that was hilarious. It's just because I was watching them like, where are the trophies? Where are these tires? Where are the trophies? And I was like saying to Sarah the whole time, just like, these are not the trophies. And she's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the trophies.
What about?
Like, I'm just like some lunatic, like pointing at lines on strings to see like the trophies.
Where's it now?
It was, oh, it was so bad. But yeah, apparently there's some lost F1 trophies out there.
Why-
Melted down. Who knows?
Why does this say 2008 Indianapolis?
Oh,
Ooh.
but yes, and yeah, I think that's all I got for U.S. Grand Prix. No Shaq in a giant car this year.
Damn it.
Oh, so sad. No weird shenanigans.
I think the weirdest
No,
thing I saw was Hinchcliffe dancing with Cowboys cheerleaders.
Oh yeah, that was odd. That was a bit odd.
I saw my absolute favorite tweet of that. It's like, Hinch, you were runner-up on Dancing with the Stars. I expected better from you.
Nice.
That was funny. Because it's true. Like, he kind of seemed to half-ass it. Also, a great Padma Award tweet was, he's like, I swear I did not steal the trophies. Because he had a photo of himself in a car with the winner trophy. And then the trophies did not go anywhere. And then, whoops.
Pato
Never
just has
taken.
them in his shack somewhere.
Quite possibly. Yeah. Anything else racing news to talk about?
I guess sticking with F1, really the only news was that they're removing the fastest lap award. So Colapinto's got to try and win it in the next 5 races if he wants a shot at it and doesn't want a Frenchman to take it.
I'm sorry, what?
So Colapinto was like, "Yeah, the one of the French guys took my fastest lap award because Ocon
Did he have it?
stole it from." He had it. He had it
Oh.
until like 3 laps to go, and Ocon took it from him.
Huh.
So he's got 5 races left to
Yep.
win
If
it.
you-
So let's
if-
see.
if you want to get yourself a greasy point in F1, you got 5 laps or 5 races to do it.
I did see
So.
they were changing some rules for 2026 where like they were they were basically the fastest lap is gone.
They're changing testing. It's like 3-day tests or whatever.
I think it's because it's new engines. So the first one is like 3-day ones.
Yeah.
Or the 3-day one it used to be. Just kind of some minor things. But yeah. Oh yeah, did you see the new cheating thing for Red Bull before this race weekend?
Oh, that front bib or whatever.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That they can change the ride height, but at the same time, no one has actually like been able to access the car to do said thing because it's in Parc Ferme.
Yeah.
So it's really a whole bunch of like, it seems like a non-issue.
Oh, it's just like the flexi wing, right?
Mm.
Maybe provides an advantage. I know McLaren was leading the charge against Red Bull, shockingly, to try and maybe get some sort of penalty, screw up their development, something. But I think it sort of ended up in the same way of, we won't use it anymore. Not saying we're not saying it gave us an advantage. We're not going to use it anymore though. So
There really hasn't really been an innovation in F1 that like one blows people away or has a massive performance enhancement since like what, the DAS?
yeah.
And then before that, like maybe the F duct.
Yeah. Because flexi wing, like we talked about, sort of comes in and out every year depending on who's doing well. They tighten it up a little bit.
Like I back in the day, you used to have like whole debates, getting like arguments over development and who is doing what. Should that be legal? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, they found a little clever little thing to have a tiny little cutout here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or now it's like, oh, there's a thing where apparently the bib might dip a little bit, and yeah. Engineers, man, they really kill the fun in things, I feel. Like back in the day when it was some dude with a sledgehammer just trying to make a car faster, they came up with some weird shit.
Yep. We need to get, if F1 can take anything away, when we were talking about how you can Americanize F1 a little bit more, we should have just brought up, you know what? They got to be a little more like the NASCAR pit crews where
Beat it with a hammer.
something's broken, beat it with a hammer, get a canine saw, hack it off, send it back out there. Good enough. Duct tape it. Guess what? We're all doing chrome now with the duct tape.
That was a good looking car. I did like the Google Chrome car.
Yeah. So, anywho.
Yeah. I don't really have any quiz for this weekend, so for this week. Oh, what do we got coming up this weekend? We said
Homestead.
Mexico
Grand Prix this weekend? No break?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
No break.
You just had a 4-week break. You want another one?
I mean, it wouldn't shock me.
That's all. Like that's part of our plans this weekend, Sean.
Oh, right. We have plans. We're going to watch the Mexican Grand Prix qualifying. Right.
We're watching the qualifying together and then going for dinner.
Okay. I'm sorry. I forget these things.
It's okay.
Like, not to mention, I almost made plans for tomorrow with one of our buddies, not realizing it was the anniversary also. So, whoops.
There you go.
I corrected.
Good. Excellent.
Anyway.
You correct before you told Sarah?
Yes. And then I told her, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, and he can admit it here because she doesn't listen.
Exactly. It's great. What else was I going to say? Yeah, Mexico Grand Prix. Predictions.
Leclerc again. And Sergio is going to retire. He'll drive off into the sunset.
Something mariachi band. I don't know.
Ferrari 1-2.
Ooh, that's bold.
Can I say Max and Lando finally take each other out and it's in the stadium section? Just for shits and gigs?
On the first lap.
Nah, it's got to build up a little bit. Got to build that tension.
Okay, how about this? Max Max and Lando take each other out, but also in the process take out Perez and you know what? Let's just also say he takes out Piastri at the same time. Both Red Bulls, both McLarens taken out at the same time.
Just
Oh
to
my
make
gosh,
just to give
that's
Ferrari
wild.
some interest.
No, just start a brawl in the stadium section.
Oh, that would be good.
I'm not here for the racing content. I'm here to watch fans of every single
brawl.
team, not even like the drivers themselves, the fans too, just go at each other.
That's fair.
See, these are all things we can hope for. But yeah, my prediction, I think the Ferrari 1-2 is a good one, because if you look at the tracks Ferrari has been good at this year.
Mexico's fitting in to that profile.
Well, they were good at Monza, which is fast. Good at Azerbaijan, again, long, fast, straight. Might be good at Mexico too. If Ferrari goes 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 to finish the season, can they win?
I
Maybe.
think they need some help, but they could.
Fine. Ferrari 1-2 and a Max Lando coming together.
Chaos.
Would be the greatest finale to a season if this could actually happen.
Yeah. Realistically, what you want is Ferrari to get maximum points when McLaren and Red Bull sort of do that double DNF. You also want Lando to get a win with a max DNF just for ultimate chaos, and you want to happen the next 3 races for the final 2.
Just out of curiosity, what is the odds for Leclerc for the championship right now?
It's got to be high because mathematically it
is
is really
extreme.
tough.
But
6,000. Actually, no, they wouldn't put it that high.
For like plus like what, 5,000, 3,000?
plus 5.
Oh wow.
Because it has to be up there because it takes a couple DNFs from Max to even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it takes about two DNFs from Max plus 2 wins.
Yeah. That's unlikely to happen.
I don't know. We've seen weirder things. It's not like,
80 point gap is tough. And that's to say Lando doesn't hold his 20-point gap.
Yeah.
you have a long run into a turn 1. You have Brazil coming up. You have Qatar. Anything can happen.
Yep.
And I think on that note, we should wrap up.
Yep.
Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Please remember to like, subscribe, and give us a rating. Help us grow. Everything like that. And we will be back next week. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Spare Parts Racing podcast. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and follow the show on Twitter at Spare Parts Racing. That's Spare Parts RACIN, and on TikTok at Spare Parts Pod. Follow the hosts at Sean Chavarella, at Stephen Clary, and at Tay Moore.